Here's a tutorial on 3-minute technique, left hand interval steady, right hand interval steady, and then hands together interval steady. So we'll start with the left hand. So it's going to be in C position. The main thing that we're working on is playing with a light thumb. So because every measure that you see in this exercise, it goes back to the thumb at the top note. So there's a lot of G's in every measure. And instead of playing like that, we're trying to develop a lighter touch with the thumb. So that's why there's an accent placed on the downbeat of each measure for the first 4 measures, and then on the different notes from measure 5 to the end are accented. So we want more emphasis on not the repeated G, which is the thumb. So to demonstrate the first measure, which is a second, interval of a second or a step, we're accenting the 2 finger. And I kind of like to approach it as like a down up motion. So kind of a little light push off with the thumb. Next measure, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. So each time the interval is getting bigger and bigger. Second, third, fourth, fifth. Okay, and then moving on to measure 5, it's the same intervals, but without the together, so it's just back to back with one long continuous slur. So we still want to maintain our legato playing throughout measure 5 to the end. So I know that 5, 5, 5, that can be a little bit tricky for some. So just pinky extension for the 6th, twice in a row. Then we revert back to pinky on the C. All right, all the while trying to crescendo, getting louder to the end of the line at measure 8. So let's try measure 5. And really making sure we accent those last notes of a third at the last measure. All right, so all together, this is what it'll sound like. When we're doing the pinky, C, B, back to C, also be mindful of not doing what I call the karate chop with our pinky. So keep, like I tend to see with quite a few students where they like to do almost like half of the pinky is playing the key. But remember, you want to think of firm fingertips. So even with the pinky, playing on the pad versus the whole side of the finger. So only the pad is what you want to aim for. similarly, going to right hand interval study, we're incorporating the same downbeat as the accents. Intervals are getting bigger. And then measure 5 to the end, one long slur with the intervals getting bigger, note together with the intervals until the very last measure. Also with a crescendo at the end. So we do still want to maintain our down, up, down, up, down, up. Light thumb in the process. And still playing on the pad or tip of the pinky versus whole or half of your pinky. Definitely want to avoid that. All right, now we're moving along to the last interval study at the bottom. So this is with our hands together. So the intervals that you're playing within the left hand, 4th, 5th, 6th, 5th, 2nd, and then skipping the repeat onto the last measure, 3rd. Meanwhile, right hand is just C 5-finger scale, up and down, maintaining legato to the very end. So what's tricky is that we have to keep in mind that feel of the legato versus breaks, quarter rests in between the left hand intervals. So here we go. Minus the repeat. So one practice that you can try initially to get used to the intervals and the hands together, you can consider not doing the quarter rest, so just playing left hand with half notes together with the right. So it would sound like this. So kind of holding just a little bit longer, as long as you can, before changing into the next chord. And oftentimes what I'll see is this, where you're holding on to the G, but we don't want that. So we want a reset of each interval every time you play the bass. Okay. Another thing you could try is doing staccatos. Or you could try doing opposite, which is a little, takes some getting used to. So left hand would be half notes, right hand would be quarter, and then the rest. So it'd be and then you could also add in the staccatos if you wanted. And then at the bottom, we do have a transposition exercise. So D major. So keeping in mind F sharp. Also, when you get to the 6th, I played C sharp because C sharp is within the key of D major when you're doing the scale. So we definitely need that C sharp, otherwise it would sound like this. sounds a bit funky. We need the C sharp, and then either up to A or down to A. You could try the same exercise. So I'm just going to pick the lower A, going down from D to A. So again, need that G sharp for the 6th in the bass.